Welcome to the Trail Manners Podcast, the place where the trail community comes alive. I'm your host, Eric Manning, coming to you from the beautiful trails of Ogden, Utah, and connecting you to the trail, ultra, and mountain running community everywhere. Since 2015, we've been chasing dirt, vert, and stories that inspire, from epic adventures to everyday trail legends. So now, it's that time to top off your water, grab some cheese curds, and join us for this week's podcast, where we take you deep into the heart of our sport. It's go time. Welcome back to another edition of the Trail Manners Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Manning. Launch date, we're in December 5th, 2025. Hope you've enjoyed our holiday gift guide. 4 episodes. We have 2 for the women, 2 for the men, talking all gear. So if you haven't had a chance, go back, listen to those, send us your ideas. What do we miss? We always miss something. Great guests, great information. So hope you had a chance to listen to that. And stay tuned for our next episode launching next week, fresh off the Hard Rock Lottery. We're going to have Preston Wood back in, kind of recapping a little bit of the Hard Rock Lottery, talk a little bit about the Bear Lottery since it's its first year as a lottery system. So we'll have him back on. And just real quick before we start, just want to give a shout out to our good friend, Dustin Booker, who just was covering some minor procedure. Hope to get back on the trail soon, Dustin. We're sending you good vibes and, heal up. Get back out on those trails. So, all right, well, now it's time to introduce our guest. So the last time we just had a discussion. Last time he was on the show, episode 333, but that was October 22nd in 2024. So over a year ago. The return of Adam Wolf. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's, this is episode 346, so technically it's 13 episodes later, but it's been over a year since we decided not to do some for a while. So how old are you now? You're
18.
Aging. 18?
Yep, 18.
Jeez, you're aging quick.
Yeah.
Last time you were on, you were 17.
Yep.
So... That's pretty good math on my part. So, yeah, last time we had you on, you just finished the Bear in 2024, your first 100 successfully, right?
Yep.
And then so we chatted with you a little bit about what you wanted to do, and next thing you know, you turn around and we look, and Mr. Adam Wolf says, I'm going to sign up for the Rocky Mountain Slam.
Yeah. And it's funny because last October when I was mentioning what I wanted to do, it's like, well, I want to do the Bear again, maybe Wasatch. White Pine could be fun to do again. Also mentioned Hard Rock for like one day, and which I still stand with that. But the Rocky Mountain Slam, I didn't say it, but it was on my mind for like 2 weeks prior to that. I'm like, people are going to call me crazy for that. But so that's why I didn't say anything. But yeah, so it happened. I don't know how I convinced my parents, but started signing up and yeah.
Hey, guess what? We're busy this weekend. Hey, you guys have nothing planned that weekend? But it's funny you say, you don't want people to call you crazy, but I think being 17 and finishing your first 100 miler, people probably already started down that path at some point.
Yeah, especially saying, hey, I did one. What about 4 next year?
Yeah. That's a little bit of a leap.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a leap to get to 1. But, those that aren't familiar, the Rocky Mountain Slam is ages old. It's been around since 1999 was the first year. Back then, it was a little bit different. There were 4 races you had to do. Hard Rock and the Bear were mandatory at the time. And then you got to choose between 2 of the other 3 races, which was Bighorn, Leadville, and Wasatch.
Yeah.
It's changed over the years for different reasons. Now, in 2026, it's changed again. So 2026, they added High Lonesome and Crazy Mountain. But now the lineup, if you're interested in the Rocky Mountain Slam, you've got 2 in June, which is Scout Mountain or Bighorn, or both, I guess. July now, there's going to be 4. Hard Rock 100, Ouray 100, High Lonesome, Crazy Mountain. August, you have Leadville and the Wyoming Range 100. And then September, you got Wasatch, and then the mandatory race, the Bear 100. So now there's a plenty of options to choose from. A couple races in June, 4 in July, 2 in August, 2 in September. But you decided to say, let's do Scout Mountain. 2 weeks later, we'll do Bighorn, and then we'll do Wasatch, and then 2 weeks later, we'll do the Bear, right?
Yep.
And your first race, Scout Mountain, you were still 17.
Yeah. Same with Bighorn. I turned 18 like 3 days after Bighorn.
Okay, so 2 at 17 and 2 at 18.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So by the time I turned 18, I'd done 300s, counting the bear last year.
Nice. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Definitely more than the average.
One sometimes is, but yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what you talked about it briefly right there, want to do these different races. I guess, regardless of your age, regardless of your ability, no matter what level you are, 400s in a year is pretty stout. Doesn't matter which 4. I don't care if they're mountainous, flat, whatever. Why did you decide to do the Rocky Mountain Slam already?
Yeah, so after the bear last year, I was just thinking of what's next. And when I finished the bear, so throughout the summer, I've been watching Tara Warren just tackle all of the races. She was running the slam for ALS awareness. And I was looking at all the races. I'm like, oh, those would be really cool to do one day. And then I had the crazy thought. I'm like, well, what if I were to do it next year? And this was in like October, November when I actually got serious about it. Because I just started adding on races. I'm like, well, I want to do bear again. I want to do Wasatch. If I don't get into Wasatch, because that's a lottery,
yep.
And now it's bear. But I was like, well, I could do at least Bighorn and bear just to get ready for bear, just by doing one in June. And just getting the 3 of those down, it's like, hey, Mom, what if we just had a 4th, do the slam? And honestly, I don't know how I convinced them, because doing, like, if you look at everybody else who's done the slam on Ultra Sign Up, if you look at their resumes, some have done 6 different hundreds, some have done 12, some have done 20.
Yeah, there's some stout names on there.
They've got some big resumes on there, and it's having little Adam Wolf over here with 100 finish. It's like, oh, he's gonna go for it.
Well, I think it's awesome because
it's awesome, but it was definitely a jump, and it was a lot to chew.
So what was your thought process? And before we get into any of the training, before we get into any of that, did you reach out to people? Did you obviously your mom's been around the sport for a while doing some crazy, amazing things. Did you, how did you decide like, hey, I'm going to do this, but now I really have to plan and figure this out? Because at the end of the day, you're still newer to the longer distance. You've been running, forever. You've been watching your mom and other people do it. But what did you think in your mind? Okay, I got to do this, because you're still in high school.
Yeah.
Up
until May.
Yeah. So but you were in high school training for your June races, right? Trying to keep your grades up, getting ready to graduate. What was that like? Just the thought process going through that.
Well, first had to figure out what ones to do. I ended up deciding just Scout, Bighorn, Wasatch, and Bear, because I knew I wanted to do Wasatch and Bear, just that combo in September. And I was thinking about Bighorn. The thing was about Scout Mountain. It was either that, because I'd done Bear before. That's it. Yeah. Doing not only one in June, but 2 weeks apart. Yeah. That was a jump. And I thought about doing like Wyoming Range, but it's like infested with bears. Apparently this year, heard that there wasn't many out there, but nonetheless, the trails aren't, like, I've heard mixed things about that course. Sure. Scout Mountain, it's one of the newer races for sure, but so I just decided to do the Scout Mountain and Bighorn 2 weeks apart, even though it was
2 weeks apart.
2 weeks apart. It's
plenty of rest.
Yeah, plenty of rest.
Yeah, because, we had someone on the show last week, Jared Vanderhook. He did the Wyoming Range 100 last year. Had nothing but great things to say about it, but it is, in a sketchy area with wildlife. Yeah. It's a newer 100. Yep. Scout Mountains up in Pocatello, Idaho, so not too far from where we live, hour and a half-ish. Great race director. Everything's solid there. But again, 2 in June, 2 weeks apart. That's pretty hairy.
Yeah, it's a lot to chew at first. It's like, ooh, and it comes down to recovery on that. Sure. You got to play it right.
Yeah. Well, because let's see, there were 9 people that finished the Rocky Mountain Slam this year, and 3 of those people were from Utah, and you were 3rd cumulative time out of 9 finishers. So that's pretty solid. So you had a finish time of 131 hours.
Yeah.
And 16 seconds.
Yeah. And the time, like, it doesn't matter a whole lot in that perspective, because people who do Uray and Hard Rock are going to take a lot longer. For that, it's all about finishing.
Sure, absolutely.
So that's the biggest thing.
And that would put, we had, of course, yourself, Kyle Kyle Markusich finished, and then Andrew Barney got his 8th Rocky Mountain Slam finished, which is a whole different discussion. What Andrew does day in and day out. But Scout Mountain, 34:52 was your finish time. Bighorn, 2 weeks later, 32:37. Wasatch, 34:11. And the one that just jumps off the page is the Bear in 29:18. So sub 30.
Yep.
You fastest of the 4, and then the Bear in 2024 you finished in 32:25. So you cut over 3 hours off your Bear race, and your fastest of the 4 was your last one.
Yeah.
And I've talked to people that have done the Slam, and sometimes that last one's that's their survival one, where they take it careful. I'm one away. I don't want to do anything silly.
Yeah.
And so it's usually not the fastest. So that was pretty impressive. And fortunately, with technology the way it is, we got to follow you along with your times. And your mom and your dad did a great job of posting on social media, like how you were doing and where you are. But pretty phenomenal. Like, did you have any idea you would go under 30 at the Bear?
That was actually the plan.
Yeah.
I really wanted to get the sub 30 buckle.
Yeah.
That was the
Grizzly Bear.
It was the cherry on top.
Yeah.
I mean, the ultimate goal is just to finish the Slam on that one. And the other ones I just took slower just because it was surviving. Like the 2 weeks apart for Bighorn, I wasn't going to do anything stupid.
Yeah.
Like you just can't do anything stupid but
That was your make sure you get there, finish, survival race.
Getting to the Bear was the big thing. It's if I can get to the Bear, then I can use whatever else is left in the tank and just go out. And then you just make sure not to pull Jeff Browning and drop it mile 85. That's still sad to hear about. It's like, oh, you get so close. It's better just to not overdo it and just make sure you get to the finish.
So tell me about this now. Let's start with your training. So you were in high school, you were a senior in high school, you run on the cross country track team in high school. So you're probably running in the spring, right? For school, which is shorter stuff. We talked about this on the last episode. You have a coach who obviously training for track cross country is a little different than a 100 miler, but you have 100 in June. So how did your first race training, before you get to the rest, how did we get to the start line of Scout training wise?
Scout was kind of interesting because for that race, I was still doing track and I was really narrowing down on trying to break 5 in the mile. Never quite got there, got to 5:05, it's the closest I got. But while training for hundreds at the same time, it's really the best of both worlds. So I was doing a lot of speed work at that point, just trying to break 5, but also training for the hundreds. Because in February is when we decided, okay, the Slam's official, got into Wasatch, this is happening. So
I got to keep giggling because it's still, folks, I get a look at him the whole time we're talking, and he's 18 and just did, one of the coolest things you can do in the sport of ultra running, in my opinion. So keep going.
Yeah. So I was doing speed work at the same time while trying to get on the trails. So just doing speed workouts during the week and making sure to get out on the trails in the weekend. And I didn't have a whole lot of time to get on the trails and to get a lot of vert and mileage in. I mean, everything I was doing for track was road running.
Yeah.
So for the other races, Bighorn, Wasatch, and Bear, I was definitely able to get out on the, well, I shouldn't say Bighorn because I did nothing between the 2 weeks. But for the other 2 races, like I was able to get on the trails a lot more, just getting some vert, getting some good miles. But yeah, had to have a pretty good balance for track because I still wanted to be fast, but also I needed to make sure that I was ready for Scout.
Yeah. And so you graduated in May. Scout Mountain was June 6th, so probably a couple weeks after graduation. Did you have much time to really put a little more emphasis on vert before you got to Scout Mountain?
Not really, no, because we went out of town. We went down to Tahiti for a week.
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? Just a little graduation trip with the family. But so we took off down there. We did a hike or 2 down there, but no, once I graduated, I did a couple things, like just a couple trail runs before I left on vacation. But I mean, after that, it was just going into taper mode, making sure that I'm ready for Scout. So right from
my
graduation
track background, and I'm going to taper. The Tahiti taper, that's what we'll call that, the Tahiti taper.
Yeah.
because Scout has 22,200 feet of climb. So it's not a little course.
Yeah, it's
pretty stout.
Yeah.
As far as hundreds go. Some mountain stuff, and about the same in the loss as well, ascent and descent. How did you do in that race on the climbing? Because that is something that you obviously didn't have a chance to do a lot of, especially for 22,000 feet. It wasn't like you're out doing like a flat 100 where that might have been a little better for your legs at the time with your training. So how did you tackle Scout with the vert? Youth?
Yeah, that definitely helps. But for Scout, I mean, the nice thing is I'm a really good power hiker. Like, I can tackle climbs pretty well. But for Scout, like, I finished in just under 35 hours. I wasn't trying to go too fast on that one just because I had Bighorn 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And all of them were pretty hot, especially Scout. And with as steep as some of the climbs were, like, there were some of the climbs, like mile, I think it was like 66. There was one where you could look up and literally see pink flags just
going to the sky.
Going to the sky. So Scout had some brutal climbs.
Yeah.
Like some of the craziest climbs I've ever done.
Okay.
And yeah, that one was all about just making sure I didn't use all of my energy just because I had Bighorn 2 weeks later.
So you said you finished in 34:52, cut off 36 hours.
Yeah,
I'm
36.
Guessing. Was there ever times in the race you were getting a little nervous about the cutoff?
I wasn't like super nervous, but it was definitely on my mind because the thing about that race is it starts at noon, and doing bear in the fall, I'm used to finishing like mid-afternoon, just somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So rolling in at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, that doesn't feel right because not only have you had one sunset, but you've had two.
Yeah.
And the thing that really sucks about Scout, it's a great course. It's awesome area, but the noon start time killed me because we left the house at 6 a.m. Well, got up at 6, left shortly afterwards, and then went up to Pocatello. And so I was already up 6 hours before the race started. Went for nearly 35 hours. By the time, and I didn't sleep. Like, no little 20-minute naps or anything, even though I was up for 41 hours. Like, by the end of that, it was...
You're ready to rest.
Oh, I was ready to rest. It was like, hey, give me the buckle. I'm going to the car.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. It was a great race. I'm going to bed. See you in 2 weeks.
And so that was Scout.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what happened between Scout and Bighorn.
So, back to the not doing stupid stuff. I went camping with my dad and a buddy of mine between that 2-week period. Went out for a few days. And we just went camping up in northern Idaho.
Okay.
And just flew up there and had like a 5 or 6 day camp out. But the thing about that is the place we were at, we rented a boat, and 3 days post race, I was doing wakeboarding for my first time.
There you go.
Yeah, that in hindsight,
Cross-training.
in hindsight, really wasn't the smartest decision, but it was a lot of fun. Got up like once or twice for a few seconds. Wasn't the greatest at it. Still, I was still a little sore at that point. But yeah, wakeboarding at day 3 of recovery, that wasn't the brightest thing or it wasn't the smartest thing to do. But aside from camping, just taking it easy, I did like 2 different 4-mile runs between Scout Mountain and Bighorn. That was it.
Wow.
Because the rest of the time I just had to rest, get ready.
Clocked a solid 8 miles. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I rested, or like I finished recovering from Scout and then had a couple of little runs, and it was back to taper mode. It was back to making sure that I was completely ready because I didn't know how I was going to handle a 2-week recovery.
Sure.
It's
pretty crazy.
It's tight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it too. I mean, you're 17. You just graduated high school. Most people your age are enjoying their last summer before they decide to do what they want to do, right? So it's like, oh, let's relax. Let's go wakeboarding. Let's go camping. Let's go. And you're like, let's just run a lot in the mountains and see what our bodies can do. So you did some taper. Then you had to tackle Bighorn. Again, Bighorn, 100-mile race, 20,000, almost 21,000 feet of climbing. So another pretty stout race. So you got your vert climb training in at Scout. What was your game plan heading into Bighorn, knowing that, never been in this is the first time my body and myself have ever done this, got another big 100-miler. Bighorn's no joke. I know it's only 20,000 when you compare it to some of these others, but been on the course, been out there. It's a serious course.
It's a decent course. It's
an out and back. How did that race go?
That one actually went really well. My time ended up being 12 minutes slower than my all-time PR, which was the Bear. It was 32:25. This was 32:20 or 32:37. Mm-hmm. But no, it was a great race. I got to the start line, and it's just, I was thinking about it at the start of the race because it's like, I'm feeling ready, feeling good for this. Just got to make sure not to overdo it because it's 2 weeks post-scout. It was like 13 days at that point, and you're back on the start line again, ready for round 2.
And that race starts a little later as well, right?
So that one starts at 9 in the morning.
Okay.
So you're not up for 41 hours by the end of it, which is nice. You're still up for over 36.
Yeah.
But that one, I like the 5 or 6 a.m. start times.
Get up and go.
Get up before the heat of the day. Get up and go.
Because Bighorn, you start at the base of a canyon. You got some pretty good climbs right out of the gate.
Yeah, you got some good climbs.
So right out of the start. So with your recovery, what you've done, you're tackling this course with a couple solid climbs right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And there's some like long climbs in portions of this course.
It's not steep and short like Scout. Like Scout had that one at like mile 66, and also it had in the final like 15 miles, it had like 6,000 feet of vert. It's final 15. Scout was a little rough towards the end. But yeah, so for Bighorn, like starting out the race, I'm feeling good about it. You still have some steep climbs right off the bat. But those went well. Had a little, because it was snowing cotton when we showed up, and I sometimes react to cotton a little bit. So I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I hope this doesn't affect me at all.
Like some allergy stuff.
It's just a little bit.
Yeah.
And for like 30 minutes, I was a little stuffy, but it wasn't too bad at the start. Wore off pretty quick, but I was just ready for round 2. I was really excited for it. I was excited for Bighorn, but I'd heard all of the horror stories of the shoe-sucking mud.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, please don't let it be like that.
Don't be rainy.
Because I think I've used all of my luck when it comes to weather. Like all of the races this year were nice and hot, just not a rainstorm in sight. Like I've used all my luck for sure.
Well, and Bighorn had just come off a major burn. There's a big fire. There were some questions if there was going to be a race. There was questions if it was going to be on the same course. And coming from a trail building / maintaining background, anytime you get big fires that kills vegetation, wipes stuff out, if you get rain, it can be disastrous.
Yeah.
So that was what I kept my eye on is, man, this could be the worst year ever at Bighorn if it rains, typically.
Well, we actually, and see, this is the other thing where my luck ran out. The halfway point in Jaws, it got 2 inches of snow about 24 hours after the race ended.
Wow!
Like we dodged a bullet on that.
Yeah, that's.
This is June, by the way. Like this is middle of summer. They're getting 2 inches of snow up there.
And the Bighorn area is just beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful course.
That area is stunning.
Yeah.
Did you make, as you went into Scout, you finished Scout, was there some changes or some strategy shifts as you went through and got into like Bighorn, saying, hey, this is how Scout went, this is what I did, whether it's nutrition, whether it was, pacing, whatever it was there changes you think, okay, maybe I need to tweak this before Bighorn?
For the most part, I kept everything the same. It's all about that conservative mode because you're on race 2. You don't know how your body's going to react that close after another 100.
Yeah.
So I was just taking it easy, just making sure that I wasn't going to overdo it like I've been talking about. And just having a good time, just making sure that I'm in a decent spot, not going too fast, but not going too slow, running back cutoffs or anything.
Well, and then after you finish Bighorn, you've got a few months before your next one, so it is kind of that mode.
And it gets to that point where, like, halfway through the race, 3/4 through the race, if I have the energy, I can use it because I've got 2 months till the next one.
Sure. So the first couple races, your family was kind of your crew and pacing through the first couple races. Is that how that worked?
Yeah.
Okay, and that worked out pretty good. I mean, you've got a lot of experience, which pays off. Did they? I don't know. I can only imagine, like you said, I had to talk them into it, but I bet there's a part of them they were pretty excited too. Though,
yeah, right? And they're really excited because they were able to pace, they were able to crew, and just be there. My mom, she didn't run any hundreds this year. She actually just put in for the Bear Lottery, though. I convinced her to do that.
Good.
So,
Well, you sucked up all her time.
Coming out of retirement. Well, we joked after. She said she was done in 2024. She's like, well, if I'm going to be done, then, well, actually, I should back up a bit. When she said she's done, I'm like, so does that mean my budget doubles, or is it? But it definitely way more than doubled. But
I was say, yeah, you pushed the budget limit pretty good this year at the Slam.
But no, they were really excited because they crewed me for all of the races, and also had some friends and family come out for some of the races. Not Bighorn, because that's all the way out in Sheridan, Wyoming.
Yeah.
Because that one, it's like an 8-hour drive for us. We flew up there, so it was like a 2.5, 3-hour flight.
Your dad's a pilot.
Yeah.
Pilot license.
The neat thing about that is we were able to fly over the course beforehand. So the day before, we're flying over all of the giant mountains that we're going to be running on. It's like, that's either a cool sight to see or it's a little heads up. Yeah.
So in Bighorn, so race 2, did you feel race 1?
Towards the end of it, yeah. The final 20-ish miles, I was like, okay, my feet are letting me know that I've run 100 2 weeks before this.
And did you have any, between the first 2 races, were there any, I don't say injuries, but anything that was kind of like, whether it was blisters or tweaks or sprains or strains?
Yeah.
Did you have any of that going on?
A little bit. So I had some blisters that I was just letting recover. I had one on my left foot. Ended up bandaging that up around like mile 23 of Bighorn. And then towards the end of Scout, I really haven't talked about this a whole lot. I think I just put a little too much strain on my left leg, like just using it a little too much, just on those like climbs and that. Because towards the end of it, like I had a tiny bit of a limp. And for like a day and a half after the race, my left knee was like a tiny bit swollen. Mm-hmm. Nothing ever came of it. I was just easy on it, and just making sure it didn't like develop anything. I think it was just a little too much strain because there's some steep climbs at Scout. So going down, it's
coming off running around a flat track. I could, flat surfaces. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of wear.
Yeah. So blisters and then a little swollen on the left knee just because of a little bit of strain. But aside from that, I've been really lucky as far as injuries. That's really been the worst of it.
That's good. So last time you were on the show, we talked about your fueling plan. Did that change? Because last time you were on the show, it's like I ate candy. I just ate candy. I ate candy, changed. And then when I was hungry or needed something, I ate more candy. So has it changed a little bit?
It had more than candy on the bear because it was the Salt Flats and White Pine 50 where I was just kind of having fun, having a little sugar here, having a sandwich here, just kind of having whatever. For bear, I got more serious about it because it's like, hey, I'm burning a ton of calories. It's You need to have some actual food instead of Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
It's so, and my nutrition kind of stayed the same way throughout the whole race, or throughout the whole series. Just actually trying to have some sustainable food. And yeah, I had a handful of Myconites here and there. You gotta have a little sugar, but it's all about just making sure you have some gels, have some chews, have some actual food, sandwiches, chips, fruit, you name it. Just not candy all the time.
Did you ever have any stomach issues? I mean, you talked about it with the bear.
And I've been so lucky with that.
Good. That's great.
The bear, we said that I had an iron stomach, and that's held up pretty well. I haven't had any stomach issues.
So you've just finished Bighorn, so now I don't have to race again until September. So you've got all of July and all of August, essentially, in a couple weeks plus. What did you then do when you finished Bighorn? Obviously recovery.
Yeah.
But how did the next block go before you approach? Because really, Wasatch, 24,000 feet of vert, and obviously the bear, 22,000. So you not only do you have you got a couple of your bigger, gnarlier-ish, technically-ish races, and how did the next phase, part 2, go, I guess, of training and preparing for those?
So the next phase went really well. I was actually able to get out on the trails more, just because I wasn't doing any speed work for track. I was full distance mode. I wasn't trying to break 5 in the mile. So I was able to get out on the trails, get some good vert, and so I was going out a couple times a week, just going out when I can. I'd go out with my mom and my dad at times. I'd go out with like Ryan Head, just some running groups nearby, just going out when I can, getting some good miles.
Logging some miles. What did you learn something from the first 2 races that you would think about? Because again, I think Wasatch and the Bear were 3 weeks apart, where the first ones were 2. Was there things that you went, okay, this is how Scout went, my recovery, Bighorn, so here's maybe some changes I need to make before I head into the final 2?
I really made sure not to slow down on the night section, because for Bighorn, there was for even Scout, you're tired during the night. You've been up for countless hours. You're tired. You're slowing down. And same with Bighorn during that. It was like a 16, 17-mile climb. It was slow, but it's just that climb going from Sally's Footbridge up to Jaws.
Yep.
And that one, I slowed down a ton on throughout the night. And I was, so Mom told me, because she was pacing me on that section, she's like, hey, Adam, and this is mile like 70. She's like, hey, you're on track for a 34-hour pace. The cutoff's 35. And that kind of rang some alarms, because I'm like, oh, that's not good. So I had us both in zone 5 for the next 2 hours, shaving off time, and brought us down to I think I got down to like a 32-hour ETA finish time, and finished in 32:37, which is great, because that's that was pretty close to my all-time PR.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that, I was like, okay, I need to make sure not to slow down on the climbs. Just up or down, just making sure that I'm consistent.
Yeah.
And for Bighorn, it was muddy towards the top. It wasn't the shoe-sucking mud, but there was enough where it slowed us down quite a bit.
And you had a couple creek crossings too.
You had a few creek crossings, yeah.
Well.
So for the next 2 races I've tried, Wasatch, I tried my best not to slow down, but it's Wasatch. But yeah, so
I just love how you say that. You're 18. It's Wasatch.
It's Wasatch. It's the biggest one, but that was the biggest takeaway, I think. There's several, but the biggest one's just trying to, because you want to make sure that you're saving your energy, but also you want to make sure that you're not slowing down too much to the point where you're scared about cutoffs.
Yeah. So when you got to the start line of Wasatch, you had to have some good confidence behind you. I mean, you finished 2 tough hundreds back to back, essentially. So then you roll into Wasatch, kind of your home course in your backyard. Confidence is pretty high. How did that race go for you?
Whew. So it's a beautiful course, but there were some pretty hard parts. So got to the start line. It's 15 minutes from my house, so we just drove over. Got up at 4:30 and just got there like 30 minutes or so before the race started. So real close by. Was feeling really good about it. Then we start out, and it's going up Bear Canyon.
Yep.
And you've probably you probably know what I'm going into.
Oh, yeah.
But so I've heard that there's, I don't know how often they've been up there, but there's wasps up there. No one told me about that.
Oh, you didn't have that going in? Okay.
No. And I heard after the fact that they've been worse some years, and some years they hadn't been there at all. But it was about mile 4. It's still dark. It's like 6 in the morning. Actually, it's probably a little past that, like 6:20 or so. But no, it's dark. You can't see anything. And we're still going up Bear Canyon, and I see people sprinting up the hill and screaming. And I'm like, they should not be sprinting up this thing. And then they're yelling, and I can't hear what they're saying. I'm like, what are they like?
What's going on?
I'm chatting with the guys behind me. I'm like, do you guys catch that? Then we hear them yell, wasps. Then that's when we start getting stung on our backs, and then we start sprinting off. But no, that I still have PTSD from Bear Canyon. Like it's that bad.
Yeah.
And that part wasn't even the worst of it, because about like a mile and a half later, it finally, it was getting light outside so we could actually see. But when we got to, it was where it was getting more exposed. Like you can look out and see the valley and that, and you can see the towers, but you're still like a mile and a half out-ish, maybe a little more. But we get to that part, everybody stops. There's like a line of like 12 people. And they're like, okay, guys, there's more bees up ahead. And I really shouldn't have said anything, because I was busy making a video, because I made a documentary of the whole series.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't want to jinx it, but I think we're past them. Literally 2 minutes later, and you can hear it in the clip. You can hear screams up ahead. And so they're like, okay, guys, people are cutting up through the bushes. They're still getting stung. People are going straight through the path. They're still getting stung. Because what they did is there's not a physical nest.
Yeah.
They burrow under the trails, And if you have a family of 5 go over it, no big deal. If you have 300 runners pounding the trail, they're under attack.
Kind of agitates them.
Yeah, a little bit. So we end up sprinting through that, and I'm the only person who got that on video. I got it on my race video. It's made for some great race footage. I guarantee you I gave people PTSD from that. But no, so I counted at least 10 stings total. Like that was, it was straight out of the Hunger Games, like just the tracker jackers or whatever. Like people just sprinting and screaming. We're all just trying to get past it because we had to sprint for like 40-second sections to get past it, and it's the steeper parts of Bear.
Sure.
You're sprinting. It's
early in the race.
Yep. But I felt bad though because we were passing people. The big thing is allergies. Thank goodness I'm not allergic to bees. I'll take the pollen and the cotton any days over the bees. But we were passing people, and they're like, "Hey, do you have an EpiPen? Do you have like?" We were watching people's races die.
Yeah.
It's like, oh dang, and we were reading on like the Facebook groups afterwards. People were like, "Oh yeah, I got 8 stings. I got 22. I got 15." It's like, ooh, they're bad this year.
Well, and I think like you mentioned, I mean, that's a bad thing. I've known, of course, over the years, some people that I know pretty well that have had to drop at that point because of,
and 4 miles in too. That's a cruddy spot.
All that time. So yeah, those things are pretty nasty in there.
Yeah.
And then, so how did the rest of the race at Wasatch go? Again, biggest vert climbing.
Yep.
You're probably more familiar with the course maybe than Bear. Did the race itself go according to plan? Again, I mean, your finish time, 34:11. That's a great finish time. It's a tough course. How did the rest of the race go for you, kind of according to plan? Knowing, again, a couple weeks later, 3 weeks later, I was
just praying there weren't going to be any more wasps up ahead. After the wasps, it went pretty well. Felt the venom for the next 3 hours or so. Like, it was definitely there. It wasn't spiking my heart rate or anything, but you could tell it was there.
Yeah.
You could feel it. Rest of the race went well. Ran into quite a few people that I knew. The other cool thing about Wasatch is there was not only me, but there was 3 other 18-year-olds running it this year. So there was 4 of us.
That's awesome.
So I had the unique opportunity to meet up with one of the 18-year-olds. His name's Dylan. So met up with him in July, and we did a training run, and we kept in touch before that. So saw quite a few people I knew on that course. So I had Dad pace me. He started at Big Mountain.
Okay.
And he was going from Big Mountain to Lambs. It's like 15 miles. I'm like, hey, it's mostly downhill. Mostly.
Mostly air quotes.
Yeah. And of looking at the graphs, it is mostly compared to like Lambs to Brighton.
Yeah.
Like you've got a lot of vert later on in the race.
Yeah.
And going down, like it's pretty hot on that section. It's exposed and hot, but it's downhill.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the trade-off. And so Dad's with me on that section, and he's like, it was hot, but there were some areas more towards Lambs where it was uphill. He's like, this is not downhill. I'm like, compared to the rest of the course, it is. I felt a little bad because we were pretty slow on that part, and I mean, it was honestly good that we were, because it was kind of a governor for me.
Yeah.
But
Big Mountain to Lambs for me on that course is not my favorite piece of course.
Yeah, it's not the greatest.
Because
you go down, and then you go down along the road for a bit, and then you end up flipping a U-ey, and then you go back for a little bit into Lambs. It's that part can be a little long. But yeah, that part's really cool. And then Mom carried me from, she paced from Lambs to Brighton. So she... let's see.
That's a good section.
That's a good section. That had, I can't remember how much vert that had on it. It had more than the Big Mountain to Lambs, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, once again, it came to the trying not to slow down too much during the night, but on Wasatch, it kind of happens a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that went really well. Once I got to Brighton, my friend Riker Moss, so he got back from his mission in like August.
Okay.
So he's trying to shoot for Leadville 100 next year. He did the 50 before he left. And so another young ultra guy. So I reached out to him and didn't know him much before the race. Like, I knew that he'd done some ultras and that, but shot him a text. I'm like, hey, I need a 4th pacer. Do you want to pace? And he's like, oh yeah, that'd be awesome. So had him out there. He paced from Brighton to top the wall.
Okay.
So throughout, it was like it was like 3 or so in the morning to just throughout the morning and that. So it was one of the longer sections because it's night. You're kind of just trotting through the night.
Yeah,
but
going up Brighton.
It's a beautiful area. I'm glad we didn't see it for obvious reasons because, well, we'd be hitting cutoffs if we were. But no, it's a beautiful area to do in the daytime, but you want to see it at night. You don't want to.
If you're in the morning, you're
in a good spot.
Yeah.
But beautiful area. That climb kind of sucks at the night because you don't know how far you still have to go, which is the beauty of it because you can't look up and be like, oh, crap.
There's the top.
Except then you look up and it's like, okay, is that stars or headlamps or how high are we going? Especially if you're sleep deprived. But no, it was a great course. So I had some awesome pacers. My crew was awesome on that because we had my friends and then we had my family. And the neat thing is my sister Sadie, so I convinced her to do cross country, and she's getting ready for a track season, but she actually paced the final 8 miles of Wasatch.
Right. How old is she?
She's 16 now.
Oh, right.
She was 15 at the time.
Cool.
So that was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Had an awesome crew, had a lot of good pacers. So yeah, Wasatch was really good. It's steep, but yeah, it's beautiful course though. Beautiful area. Next time I do it, I will be wearing a bee suit up the. I hear that there was actually someone who did wear a bee suit up to the towers and then took it off.
Huh. Everybody
didn't see the guy, but I heard
at the start people probably give him a weird look, and then by the time they're like, "That guy's brilliant. He's brilliant."
Yeah. So beautiful course. I'll most likely do it again, but not without a bee suit. That sucked, and I still have PTSD from Bear Canyon. Just rewatching that video and also just having it play in my head, I'm like, oh, that's horrible.
It's a tough course, that section too. Not just the bees, but it's not an easy section going straight up.
But it's 24,000 feet of vert too.
Yeah, there's
total.
a lot
and you have
stuff.
5,000 in the first, 5,000 feet in the first 5 or 6 miles.
Yeah,
it's a steep start.
It is.
Bear, you have first 10 miles, 12 miles. It's like 5,000.
Yeah,
you've got all of that vert in the first 5 or 6 for Wasatch.
Yep. And so that one, 34:11. So again, great time. Got one left. You got 2 more weeks. What did the recovery look like from Wasatch to the Bear? Because that's a 3-week block. So is it mainly recovery? Did you get in some running? Did you just what was that like?
Yeah, so it was mainly recovery. Did a little bit here and there. But it's like, hey, we're on the home stretch. Need to make sure don't screw things up. We've done 300 miles so far. Just have 100 left to go. Just 100 left to go. But so, 3 weeks out. It's feeling really good about it because the Bear, I feel the most confident on. I've paced Mom on that since I was 10 years old. Yeah. I know that like the back of my hand. Yeah. The other races like Scout Mountain, the course is a rat's nest if you look at it on a map. Yeah. It's just a bunch of scribbles. After looking at it for an hour, you might finally understand it. Bighorn's easy, though, because it's an out and back. Yep. And then Wasatch, it's just along the front and all that. But I've been on parts of Wasatch, so I knew some areas. Mm-hmm. I'd done Brighton, and I'd done part of Lambs, some of Big Mountain. But everything else from Scout Mountain to Bighorn, part of Wasatch, I had no idea what the course was, how technical it was, what's rentable, what's not rentable. Yeah. You don't know until you're...
Well, once you climb out of Brighton and you get to the top, that next section downhill is gnarly. Super technical, loose rock, scree as you're heading down. Yep.
No, that was a horrible spot. Yeah. Coming down Brighton, that was...
That's one of the spots I was like, oh boy, here we go. Hang on.
Especially in the dark too.
Shoes tight, get everything buckled down.
And that was tricky for Wasatch too, because on that part we had a couple of issues with my headlamp.
Oh, nice.
Because I know it's a great spot. And it was literally coming out of Brighton where my headlamp was getting low on battery. It's like, hey, swap it out. The other batteries weren't charged. They were duds. Uh-oh. They were put back in the container and they were duds. So my buddy Riker, so I ended up using his headlamp. He had his phone out, and I felt so bad because it's like,
It's a pacer's job.
It's a pacer's job.
It's not glamorous, and you're there for the runner. So
no, and I didn't have that on my video or talk about it a whole lot, just because we were so focused on making sure that I had light.
Sure.
And because we spent a solid 10 minutes or so coming out of Brighton, just sitting up on the top, having a few people pass us. It's like, oh, we can't get this light to work, because Riker's headlamp, it's kind of touchy. You have to have it in a certain spot. I don't know if the wires got tweaked on it or something, but you have to have it in a certain spot or it just turns off. So we're dealing with that. Mine's out of batteries. It's toast. I've checked since then. For the Bear, I've made sure the backup batteries are backups.
I've got 7 sets of batteries for the Bear, because now you're rolling into that. So you want two things. One, short turnaround, but your confidence has to be, it seems to be, maybe I should say it that way, kind of high, knowing, hey, this is the last one.
Yeah.
It's also the one I'm most familiar with. I've done it before. All I got to do is finish, and I complete the Rocky Mountain Slam.
Yep.
So heading into that one, did you feel any any added pressure for that one?
Not really, just because, like I said, it was the one I was most familiar with. Mm-hmm. And for that, it's okay, sub 30 would be amazing, but it's not the goal.
Yeah.
The goal is just getting to the finish, making sure I don't pull Jeff Browning. Every time I hear that story, I'm like, oh, that's 15 miles out. It was to a point where it's like, hey, if you get that far, just don't overdo it. Don't go crazy. Just make sure you get to the end. And so for Bear, I wanted to try and get that sub 30 if it was possible, though.
Yeah.
Because I knew the course. I knew where I could push, and I knew where I couldn't. So started out as normal. Just went up the first climb. Just took it easy. And the fun thing about Bear is I was actually running in a group. So Patrick Oborn. So I ran with him and a group of his friends up for the first 20 miles or so.
Okay.
So I was just chilling with him and his buddies throughout, up until about Lethem Hollows. So up the first climb, we were just talking, having fun. Then we hit the downhill section. We're having fun. And he's got his poles on him, so they kind of take off for a few minutes, and then I catch back up, and then just coming into Lethem Hollows, just going down that 10-mile stretch. And I got scared for a minute because somebody's like, crap, there's more bees. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I'm done.
And it was mile 17 too. And I guess they weren't irritated wasps or anything. I think it was just a couple bees on the side, but we just started sprinting through there. We're like, okay, this isn't happening again. We're not having a round 2. It's been 3 weeks.
Been there, done that.
Still pretty traumatized from the Wasatch course, but no. So the start of Bear was pretty fun just because with people I knew, I was having a good time. And the fun thing is going up Bear, it's always a conga line, but also going into Lethem, we were in a spot where we had a line of 20 or 30 people. It was a conga line running down, and we were keeping a decent pace too.
Nice. So what in that race, was there a portion in that race where sub 30 was there, where you're okay, you wanted to do it, but what point of the race were you okay, I can do this?
Probably more towards, I don't know, because I kind of questioned it at the start or towards the end, because throughout the start and throughout the middle of it, I'm okay, we're on pace, we're doing great. Towards the end of it, I'm oh, are we still there? Because I was still worried about the Ranger Dip climb.
Sure.
And I was oh, it's... Because I was going fast on that course. I was feeling it. I was making sure that I was just on pace in that. But throughout the whole time, I was averaging a 29-30 finish.
Okay.
So sub 30, not by a whole lot, but I was averaging it.
Sure.
And the unique thing about Bear is every other race, including Bear last year, I'd always slow down during the night, even if it's a little bit. But this time during Bear, throughout the night in the flat meadows and that, I wasn't slowing down. I was power hiking, holding 15, 16-minute miles through those areas.
Okay.
Not slowing down at all.
Nice. Well, because the other thing we struggle with sometimes, I do, is late race math.
Oh yeah. That was a...
So it's always how many miles if I do this pace, or I want to go sub 30, what time? And
I was struggling at mile 88 with that.
Yeah, numbers just go out the door, and you're just like, I don't know what's going on anymore. Yeah. Late race math. All right, so talk to me. You hit Ranger Dip. You leave the last aid state. Well, before Ranger Dip, you leave the aid station. You got the little climb, but you got a downhill. Also, you're closer to the finish. How did the last bit? We always talk about whether it's a half marathon, a 50, whatever race you're running. When you get closer to the finish line, you start reliving things. You get that emotion, one way or another. What was that last part like, knowing, I'm going sub 30, but also I'm going to finish the Rocky Mountain Slam? Like, was it hard to kind of stay focused? Was it kind of just excitement? You're like, okay, this is party mode now. We're having fun. We're going to finish. This is going to be a blast.
Well, the whole race, it kind of felt like party mode once I knew that I was holding that sub 30 pace. Mm-hmm. I mean, all throughout the race, like, I had Mom pace me starting from right-hand fork, and she went up until she went up until the lodge, I think.
Beaver Lodge.
She went to the one after Tony Grove. I've memorized so many aid stations this year. I'm losing track. She went to the one after
math.
So she did an area, and then my cross country coach David I mentioned him last year on the podcast. He did a section with me. And then Dad did a little bit, and then my track coach, Rob, he did the final 8 miles.
Oh, right on.
So had a lot of pacers on that race, and that was fun because it's a little more it's a little bit easier to add pacers on that course compared to like Wasatch. But overall, that race was on party mode. Like it's like, hey, as long as, short of me like spraining something or like having an injury, like we're on the home stretch, we're having fun. It's the end is in sight. We're 70 miles out. We're 60 miles out. We're nearing in on the end. And for Ranger Dip, when I picked up my track coach, that's when I was doing the runner's math, and it was really bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it could be tight. Because I was going into Ranger with my dad. I was giving him a workout, and he's like, hey, like Adam's going to be a little bit slower. He's not going to have energy. I had energy.
I was ready.
I don't know how, but and he's always wanted me at the end of the race, not towards the beginning like Wasatch, because he's like, I want the end of race Adam where he's slow, not the mile 30 where he's still pretty energetic.
Yep.
And so we were going into Ranger Dip, and I was finally doing some of the jogging, walking intervals. And so we ended up jogging like some of the uphills, like a couple miles out from Ranger Dip, just doing like 30-second intervals. And we're 87 miles in at that point. And Dad's like, how are you moving like this? And so he's sending some texts to our crew chat. He's like, yeah, Adam's in beast mode. I don't know how. He's running uphill. And they're like, what? It's like, okay, he's coming in hot. But I was just really worried about that sub 30 for a minute. Once again, runner's math. I was sub 29 at that point.
Yeah, I was just you were closer to sub 29.
I was at that point. I was. The other thing is my track coach Rob. He had this knee injury in the spring, and he hasn't been able to run since that. Like he finally got better like 3 weeks before Wasatch.
Wow.
And it was just the timing was a miracle, because before that, like he could barely run 2 or 3 days in a row, and I was just really worried about injuring his knee again.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really want him to join, but I also don't want to injure him because he hasn't been able to run in half a year.
Yeah.
So it was to a point where coming into Ranger, I was genuinely thinking about having him just meet me at the area where we turn off onto the road for the final 2 miles.
Yeah.
But then looking at and redoing my math now that I'm at Ranger while I'm getting a quick bite to eat real quick, I'm like, well, if I have to leave him, then I can. And I was just hoping I wouldn't injure him, but I'm like, okay, we've got time. Let's hurry. He's getting his shoes on. We'll hurry and head out. And he did awesome. His knee was doing awesome. He didn't have any injuries from it. He's been running since.
Good. Yeah, that's like a 2,000 plus feet drop.
Yeah,
leaving Ranger.
You got
top.
700 feet going up.
Yep.
That's one of the steeper climbs for sure.
Yep.
But that part not only just worried me because I knew I was going to be a bit slower, and we kind of jogged down a little bit of it this year. Last year, for the bear, I wasn't jogging down a whole lot, mainly because it's the first 100. Don't know how I'm going to react.
Sure.
But this year, I'm like, okay, I know where I can, and it's rocky. You still got to watch yourself. You don't need to twist an ankle 7 miles from the finish.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just made sure not to cause any injuries for either of us because that close to the finish, but also I didn't want to worsen my coach's injuries.
Yeah.
But anyways.
So what did you finished the bear, solid time, sub 30, party at the finish line, everything's done. My 400s are done. I'm going to get a rest.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about it. I did my sub 30, hit my goal. Since then, and you have had time to reflect, is there anything that you learned through that process? We talk about that a lot in a lot of things, especially trail running in general. It's like, I learned a lot about myself here.
Yeah, and you do throughout those kinds of.
Yeah, was there things, again, you're 18 years old, so it's not like you have 40 years to look back on and different things, but like what things did you learn about yourself through this process, of what you took on?
Really, it's just if you put your mind to anything, doesn't matter if it's a race, doesn't matter if it's
a test,
a project, a test. It's if you study or like for a test, if you like study for it, you'll be able to do well. And for these types of things, if you put in the work, put in the hours, and just dedicate your time and just train for it, like you'll be able to do it. And for this, it's just showing like doing this at 18, like it literally shows no matter age, well, I can go both ways, but you can literally do anything if you put your mind to it. And if you have the time and you want to just tackle it. And doing this series with only 100 finished beforehand, like that's a big jump. Yep. It's a lot to chew, but yeah, just trained really hard and
do whatever you set your mind to.
Do whatever you set your mind to. I don't know. I'm not the greatest advice giver, but especially when it comes to my training, because I'm like, this is not the recommended.
This isn't what's in all the textbooks.
This is not what's in the textbooks.
ChatGPT would not say to do something like this.
It's like, don't do 200s back to back
in a year.
In a year.
What was
2 weeks apart?
What would you say was the most difficult part of this whole thing? Was it the recovery? Was it the training? Was it? what would you think?
Wasps.
The
wasps.
I'm
kidding. Probably the recovery, just because I didn't know how I was going to react to it, which ended up being like I ended up taking it really well.
Yeah.
But there's always just that, like, you always second guess it at times. It's like, well, I haven't done this before. I hope it's going to go well. There's a lot of uncertainties with it.
Yeah. What about the memorable? What were some of the positive, not even positive, what were some of the most memorable moments throughout the whole thing?
Really just all of the views, like on top of Old Tom on Scout Mountain, or some of the areas on Bighorn, like Sally's Footbridge, or heck, even some of the high peaks on Wasatch, like just up on top of Bear Canyon. Once you're past the wasps, you can look at the view and be like, thank goodness we're on roads where there's no wasps. But a really special moment, and this is an obvious just because it's the finish of the bear, like it's just the finish of the whole series. You've done 400 miles. But the unique thing is my grandpa Wolf, so he's 85, and he was asking a couple weeks before, he's like, hey, do you think they'd let me run in with Adam?
Oh, I saw that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I didn't know that because like he said he was going to plan on doing that. But what made it sweeter is I didn't know that he was training for it. So he was training, running between telephone poles on a street, just kind of measuring out the distance from where he'd jump into the finish line. So he was training a couple weeks before, and he's 85.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
so
emotional.
That was really special.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You do hear of neat stories, and that's why I wanted to ask, but like 85 years old, I mean, I hope I'm still moving like that at 85, but training as well, because he wants to be a part of it. And I think that's better. You know, you talk about the memorable moments, and I can just imagine, again, not even being there, but like your family, you know, just how special it was for everybody to be a part of such an amazing feat, amazing journey, but they all got to play a little part in it. And so you are the one that did the whole thing, but on the flip side, there's people that were there the whole time and got to see the highs, the lows, you know, the finishes, what it takes to get there. That's pretty special. Anything else? Any other memorable moments? Was that kind of the icing on the cake?
Those were like the highlights for sure. But really just the whole journey. I mean, I wouldn't trade this summer for anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's being able to do this not only just at 17 and 18, but just for anybody who's able to do that. Like, it's seeing 400 miles of terrain throughout
Beautiful terrain.
Utah, Idaho, Wyoming. Like, it's so many beautiful areas that almost nobody gets to see.
Yeah. So you're 18, you're a wise old ultra running veteran now. What advice would you give to people that are considering that want to do the Rocky Mountain Slam, regardless of the races, just the Rocky Mountain Slam? What's your 18-year-old veteran running advice?
I'd say probably just go for it. Just try not to put yourself in a situation where it is going to be too much. Like the Scout Mountain and Bighorn combo, it was a lot. It was doable, but it's definitely a little intimidating.
Yeah.
And something like that, if something goes wrong, it could mess up a lot of the other races.
Sure. Could mess up the whole series.
Could mess up the whole thing. If you injure yourself, not only are you out for the summer, but you're also out for the season.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to think about when you're doing not only one, but two, but three, but 400s within a season. I mean, most ultra runners will only do 1 or 200s a year. And meanwhile, people doing the slam are doing 4 minimum. Some of the people were doing 5 or 6 just for kicks and giggles,
just
I guess.
For extra credit.
Just for extra credit. Like
the Rocky Mountain Slam with
like
whipped
Matthew
cream.
Kellenberger, he did not only the Rocky Mountain Slam, he did Wasatch's Slam. So that's 8 races right there. Well, technically 7, because Wasatch is kind of it counts for both of them. But he did like 15 different hundreds this year.
Wow.
And the slam is insane. You need to be ready for it. And if you think you can do it, you can. If you're second guessing it, then I don't know. It's a tricky series, but it's worth every second.
Yeah.
Worth every step. Minus the wasps.
Minus the wasp. Well, now is we had a discussion. You're getting ready in just a month or so or less to head out on an LDS mission, and you're headed to Bentonville, Arkansas. Do you have? I know it's 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. So you'll be gone 2 years. I imagine you'll be able to get some activities in to kind of keep going, because you can tell you love to run and you love that sport. Do you have any big plans, like when you get back, things that you think about that you would be fun to do? Would you consider doing the slam again? Is it kind of looking more to hard rock or Western? I mean, what are your early ambitions for trail running? Or when you get back, are you just like, I'm not going to do this anymore?
This is just the beginning. But yeah, so I'm definitely thinking of doing more hundreds when I get back. I'm not quite sure what yet. I do think Wasatch's Slam would be fun to do, because that has more of the older hundreds in the nation.
Are you talking about the Grand Slam?
Yeah, the Grand Slam. Okay. The Rocky Mountain Slam would be fun to do again. Do like Hard Rock and Crazy Mountain. Do some of the other races.
Yeah.
Be fun to do other stuff like Backyard Ultras. There's this new one starting up in April for anyone who's wondering. It's called like the Northern Utah Backyard Ultra. It's up in Manaway. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking of doing that in 2028 when I get back. It's in April, so probably the first thing I'll do when I get back. Thinking about it pretty. I'm thinking I'll probably do it right now.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to try backyard, but also be a good intro to get back in.
Sure.
So planning on that. I do want to do bear and stuff again, obviously. So I'll have my parents put in for the 2028 season. Cause I might be home for the lottery, but I'll be getting in that regardless.
Nice.
Might do Wasatch and stuff like that. I want to eventually get to Hard Rock and Western.
Sure.
Other things like that. I'm not sure if I'll ever jump out to the 200 range.
Yeah.
Hundreds are pretty sweet for right now, kind of the sweet spot. But
Sweet spot.
we'll see what happens, though. I mean, this is only the beginning.
Sure.
There's many more ultras to come for sure.
Well, what's your plan when you get back? College, work? What do you got planned? Now we're really putting you on the life spot.
Yeah.
I've never had this conversation with a guest
on a
before.
podcast, yeah.
She's like, what are you doing after you retire? Now I'm
Yeah.
talking about what are you going to do when you start adulting?
Yeah, so kind of following what my dad did. So planning on going off to the airlines, just being a pilot for a living. So,
that way you can fly to your own races all over the place.
exactly.
Man, you got it dialed at 18.
Yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, just some form of schooling, either if it's college or private,
Sure.
or some form of schooling. But ultimately, just getting off to the airlines and
Starting your life.
starting my life.
Wow. All right. You're dialed in. You're locked in and ready to go. Your life's made for you. Well, really appreciate you coming on, taking the time before you take off. I was getting nervous. I'm like, man, I hope I can catch him before he heads out on his mission. So I'm glad you took the time to come in. Super. I know, you probably hear it a lot, but it is impressive what you did. Super inspiring. Even it doesn't matter your age. I mean, it's inspiring for that, but it's just, I hope people out there listening just truly grab the magnitude, of what Adam has been able to do, in the last 13 months, 500 milers, did the Rocky Mountain Slam back to back. I have problems with back to back long runs on a weekend, man. So nothing but respect and love for you. Super proud of you. Again, I mentioned it before in our last podcast, but I had the pleasure of meeting you at a very young age for the first time and, getting what do you look at that? An outside look at you kind of going through the ranks, and now what you're doing is absolutely incredible. So congratulations. Super cool.
Yeah, well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Nice.
And it's funny because I keep on getting the photos memory pop up of your 7K when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
It's fun just seeing how things progress.
Yeah. You still look similar.
Yeah.
You look a little older,
a little
get
bit.
a little scruffy, but that'll work. Well, congratulations, and a big shout out to your family for the support they give you. I mean, as well as many of us know, a lot of this stuff is a selfish endeavor, and we couldn't do it without our support, whether it's, our family, our loved ones, our friends. So big feat you took on. So congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, we're wrapping up the show. Adam Wolf, barely 18, finishing the Rocky Mountain Slam. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Again, don't forget to leave a rating and review when you get a chance. And don't forget to check out our show notes. We do have some discounts of some of our favorite brands that we work with. We do get no money back in the show, but it's just something we can pass on along to you. But stay tuned for next week when we sit down with Preston. We'll talk about the Bear a little bit more. We'll talk about Hard Rock a little bit more. Good luck on your mission. Have fun. Be safe.
Okay, thank you.
And this is Eric, the Trail Manners Podcast. We are out. Thanks for listening to the Trail Manners Podcast. If you love trails as much as we do, make sure to follow Trail Manners on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, or swing by trailmanners.com for more stories, gear, donations, and ways to support the show. Got an idea, a favorite story, or someone we should talk to? Hit the contact page or email me at trailmanners@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, share it with your crew, subscribe wherever you listen, and drop a quick rating or review. Every little bit helps to keep this show running. Until next time, I'm Eric Manning reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.